Thank you, Mr. Chairman. By the way, we've got a pretty good water filtration technology center in Milwaukee as well. We probably helped out with that company. Mr. A. Shaw, welcome. I really enjoyed your keynote at the National Prayer Breakfast, where you made, I think, a very strong case for foreign aid. Unfortunately, not every American got to hear that case. And I think it's also unfortunate that when you take a look at our current budget situation, the enormous pressure we are under, most Americans take a look at foreign aid, and that's the first place they want to cut. So can you just speak a little bit in terms of making that case for foreign aid?
Well, thank you, Senator, and thank you for your leadership. I think what I learned from the opportunity to be at the prayer breakfast this year was that when we come together across different communities of partners, Republicans and Democrats, House and Senate, businesses and entrepreneurs, and very importantly, faith community members who carry out this mission with exactly the right kind of intention of serving those that are least fortunate amongst us. We present a picture to the world of an America that cares about vulnerable people, that cares about countries and societies that have been left out of the tremendous growth and opportunity that has swept over the world over the last several decades, centuries. And when we start to remind Americans of just how much suffering there is out there, that 860 million people will go to bed hungry tonight, that 6.6 million children will die under the age of 5, almost all from simple diseases that could be prevented with pennies per dose types of treatments. People begin to see the opportunity and actually ask us to do more, not less, in our foreign assistance and our development investments. So our priority at USAID has been to demonstrate that the resources that Congress entrusts in us at a difficult fiscal time are deployed as effectively and efficiently as possible. And Congress has helped us a lot rebuilding our agency to do that, but we now evaluate every major program. I can sit here with confidence and describe programs that work and sometimes those that don't, that need to be changed or
Senator Johnson, if you would just
Sure.
yield for me to one moment. I'm going to ask Senator Kaine to preside. You're next after Senator Johnson. I'm going to go vote.
Okay.
Come back. I know Senator Flake wants to come back, and this way we'll maximize your time. Thank you for
But you mentioned a word that's dear to my heart, prioritization. I think one of the things that harms foreign aid are examples where our foreign aid is given to countries that are very corrupt and maybe supporting programs. And the converse of, or the opposite of what Senator Rubio asked, can you name a program to give me certainly the information or the argument where we've actually ended a program that has been unsuccessful, that we haven't been able to influence a country into better behavior?
Well, sir, let me just say, over my tenure, we have shut down 34% of our programmatic areas of investment around the world. And that's what we've needed to do to free up the resources to invest in Feed the Future, which works in 19 countries and delivers incredible and outstanding results. Specifically, I went out with my team a couple of years ago to Afghanistan. We did a comprehensive review of everything that was planned 5 years out, and we called it a sustainability review. And we removed from the game plan a number of projects that we didn't think would be financially sustainable or generate the return on investment that would have been required. And right now, I sit here and I'm very glad we did. And I don't want to name all those projects.
Tell you what, provide my office with that list.
Absolutely.
I mean, again, that gives me some good information where I can say, listen, we've got a good administrator. He's looking at these programs. These are 34 that he's ended appropriately so. But also let's keep going on in terms of prioritization. I know, looking at your budget request, you've got about $500 million targeted toward global climate change initiative. Now, I think when you were before a subcommittee in appropriations committee in which I served, we talked about Bjorn Lomborg, somebody whose writings I respect an awful lot because he's really looking at prioritization of spending, what you were talking about earlier. What do you get the most bang for the buck on? And he's written a pretty good book, Cool It, that certainly argues that we're far better off spending money on malaria prevention, addressing the problems of HIV and AIDS, freshwater initiatives, provide fresh water for populations, as opposed to spending money on global warming, on climate change initiatives. So can you speak to that? That's 3% of your budget being allocated to something that, somebody like Bjorn Lomborg is really scratching his head saying that you're far better off spending money elsewhere.
Well, we can. First I just want to, just so I'm clear about what our priorities are, our largest area of investment at USAID is health at $2.7 billion. When you do the all-in and include the HIV program, it's $8 billion a year. Food is the next largest at about $2.5 billion, and that includes the Feed the Future program that invests in agriculture, so our food aid is no longer needed.
So again, here's another $500 million for climate change that maybe could be put toward the food initiative that Senator Corker was saying was incredibly effective.
Well, and we have $800 million for education, $600 million for water, and our energy programs, which are often characterized and are part of the President's climate change initiative, are growing in the budget. And it's because access to clean energy in country after country is just critical for development. I was in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They have 9% energy access. They want, hydropower. They want off-grid energy solutions for local communities. And we work on all of those issues. And those are also, by the way, as we carry them out and implement them, they're going to be carbon reduction strategies as well.
I mean, hydropower is very cost effective. I like that concept. Solar power is not economically feasible. Wind power is double the price of other type of generated power. So again, I'm just asking the question, where is this money being spent? Is it being spent wisely? Is it better spent in other areas?
I think it is being spent wisely, and I'd also point out, when we're looking in the communities we're looking at, people actually pay a huge amount of money for diesel generation for power and energy in places where there's no systemic access. In that context, small-scale energy solutions, off-grid solutions that rely on solar, wind, and other sources are extraordinarily cost-effective for those communities in those contexts. But this is exactly the kind of math we do to make sure that we're investing in things, not just because we want to invest in things that have the highest return on investment, which we do, but ultimately we're making an initial investment, and countries themselves have to sustain these systems over time. And like we did in Afghanistan, we want to be sustainable in how we carry out this work. And I give a lot of credits to our team for bringing that kind of sophisticated analysis and ROI thinking to how we do this work, and in particular carrying out cost-effectiveness analysis on these major programs and how they're implemented.
Okay. Again, thank you for your question, for your answers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator Shaw. Good to be with you today. Just 3 comments and then a set of questions around Syria and humanitarian